I cannot break it early than 6 yards. And I broke it right at 6 yards. But as I'm running to the back of the pylon, I'm throwing my hand up because I had already saw everything spread wide open in the back. Like, hey, I'm open right now. Throw it to me. And as I'm running to the back, I just see the football coming. I stopped. I was like, I can't go no more. I know I'm close to the sideline, but I don't know where but I'm here. I can't. If I take another step, I'm out of bounds.
No question.
And as I put my hands up, the ball is right there. The same play that this guy has been throwing all season long. Me and Ben used to stay after practice in the off season and just throw corner routes for touchdown that whole entire 2008 season. Leading up until the last play that we practiced, leading up until the Super Bowl, to the last play that we threw together that solidified our relationship and our career. And we became Super Bowl champions. And that moment helped solidify the presence of Santonio Holmes in the National Football League as a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Riding around the city, plastic cup of C-Rock. Bigger and I'm blacker. I am on that Chris Rock.
Ladies and gents, welcome back once again. All things covered with yours truly, Bryant McFadden, Patrick Peterson. We got another entertaining show for you guys to enjoy. As you see right there on your screen, you see our guest, but I can't do him a disservice. I got to give him his proper intro. My former teammate, 9-year NFL vet, former first-round selection by the Pittsburgh Steelers, Super Bowl 43 champion, and he was the MVP of that said Super Bowl. Also, this guy been winning championships all the way going back to his collegiate days. 2002 BCS National Champion with Ohio State. No other than the great Santonio Holmes.
Mac, Pat P, thank you guys, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, that was a great introduction. Man, that was awesome. Wow.
Well deserved. Well deserved, man.
Head.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
But you did forget.
What I forgot?
But you did forget one thing, Mac. 2-time high school state champion, football.
Come on, Matt. Do your research.
2 times. 2 times.
Got that trifecta, Mac.
Hey, you've been winning championships. You've been winning championships every stop you've been.
Oh, man, it's been a lovely ride, man. I can't do nothing but thank the teammates and the coaching staff, man, that was able to pick me to be a part of that staff to help build, what that team championship run has looked like. And, I was one step closer to leading the New York Jets to a championship run, but unfortunately, I got stopped by our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. But I was there. I was almost there again. So to know that, having the heart of a champion and just building that relationship with teammates, man, this is what it's all about. Wearing this shirt doesn't make me the man that you guys see today. I just embraced the fact that this was an opportunity that I had got the chance to be a part of something that was so special and legendary. So now I get to be a part of that legendary with the tag. So I represent what that tag looks like, but this also represents these colors that you guys see me wearing every day. And that's black and gold, man. I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler for life. I grew up as a Pittsburgh Steeler as a little kid. And I think that's what bred me to having that championship spirit and that mentality to be sitting here, having this conversation with 2 Pittsburgh legend defensive players here today.
No doubt, man. We appreciate that. And like I said, we appreciate you gracing us with your presence, man, as our guest. And you talked about, your high school days. We want to go back in time a little bit, right? You're from an area, of course, me and Pat P, we all from South Florida. You're from an area called Belglade, Florida, right? That area has produced so many NFL pros.
Get it, baby.
Yes, sir. Muck City. So for some of our viewers, they might not be familiar with Belglade, Tone. Could you let them know about your rich football history and some of the notable names that have come out of Belglade to make it onto the professionals level?
Oh my God, the history is deep, man. The Muck blood run deep, and it's even greater than the athletics. That there's been so many more successful individuals that have graced our city and our town. plentiful, full of entrepreneurs and guys that have made it to the NFL, but maybe didn't get to play long or didn't get to get any debut in the NFL. So it goes very deep with the history of the NFL and Belgrade. We have over 40 guys that have made it to the National Football League
Wow.
from our high school, and starting, back when Jesse Hester and Lewis Oliver back in the 80s, and Rodney Weston back in the 80s. So these guys made it, before we did, and was able to set the example for what, making it should look like. And I just followed along that trend to see that if this was the example that was set before me, if someone is giving me this opportunity to be a part of this, then I want to embrace this. And all along, I wanted to be a football player. I wanted to win championships. And with the grace of God, I was placed in the muck, and that's where this champion was born and bred. So today, to follow in the footsteps of Fred Taylor, who is legendary running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Florida Gator. He set the example. Riedel Anthony, played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right before I entered into the NFL. My gosh, you had Kelvin Benjamin to follow along. You had Travis Benjamin to follow along as well. Deontay Thompson, and these are just receivers that I'm naming that was able to follow along behind, myself from making it to the NFL. So this goes way deeper, than myself with being a part of this history of the NFL coming from the muck.
Man, and I had the opportunity to and play with a couple of guys, and we got a little something in common. One of your coaches, I don't know if you ever crossed paths with him, but Willie Snead. Does that name ring a bell?
Absolutely.
So Snead was he coached for my high school for 2 years down at Blanche Ely. So Willie Snead, his brother, he brought that whole offense down there, and we got a little bit of that muck offensive flavor as well. But I got to ask you this. I got to hear this from the horse's mouth. I had some family members from Belle Glades, and had a couple teammates from Belle Glades, and they always talked about you guys chasing rabbits. With me and Brian being from South Florida, there wasn't many rabbits out in the field. There wasn't many fields. We lived out in a city part of Florida. So is there any truth to this story that you guys used to chase rabbits to get to see?
There's a lot of truth to the fact that chasing rabbits as a kid and using that survival skill has turned into an instinct that was developed into how do you chase down the individual that you're chasing. Knowing that he's gonna zigzag you a few times, and are you gonna be aware of that part of you making that tackle, of being a football player, but now having that instinct to chase down a rabbit creates that same type of chemistry. Little did I know that that was the thing that allowed me to become the person I am today, because I can just remember sitting in the car with my grandpa, and he hanging out the window with that 22 rifle, and he just shooting them and picking them off, So I would just go out there and pick them up, throw them in the car, and we keep it moving. But when it was my turn to go out and start hunting with my uncle and our dogs, we taking bicycles, we taking our go-karts, out into the fields. We tying, milk crates up, and we're out in the fields, bandanas around our heads, covering up the smoke because we're waiting for the rabbits to start running out the field after they burning the sugar cane. And in order to make sure you came home with 20, 60, 80 rabbits, you better know how to hustle. So that instinct to chase and run down them rabbits, you know what I'm saying? You going home to eat, because get what? Grandpa selling them rabbits, you know what I'm saying? To somebody coming into town, and now we got money to, to use, because now we got to pay for football gear. Now we got to pay for our travel, and things that we have to do, when we want to go. So we had learned those survival instincts, but little did I know, I developed, my hand-eye coordination. That developed my skill set walking down, beside the canals, and you got to have an eye for knowing that a rabbit going to be sitting in the ditch, and he camouflaging, trying not to get caught. Like, nah, I ain't running nowhere. I'm going to sit right here. And you got to have that instinct to know how to grab him or how to hit him, so that he don't get away, right? So all of that skill, like I can picture all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying, happening like it was yesterday. And I chased rabbits all the way up to my 10th grade year of high school.
Wow.
And the only reason I stopped chasing rabbits because I decided to pick up a job, you know, my mom and dad in the cornfield, you know what I'm saying, one summer, and realized like that was the worst mistake I ever made in my life, and told them I'll never be back here again. And that's why I'm here today. So using that skill set to chase rabbits and knowing that like work wasn't for me. Like I couldn't get out there and do nobody else's job, you know what I'm saying, to make them happy. Like I had to do what I felt made me happy. And when I went out and chased rabbits and we made money, that's what made me happy. So now chasing the football in the air, knowing that I got defenders around me, oh man, that's easy. Like this is, you know what I mean?
So, Tone, tell me, what was your best day at hunting rabbits by hand, by you chasing them by hand? What was the best number count that you had in one outing?
Me and my uncle went out and we caught close to like 120.
So you was out there running after 120 rabbits?
It's me, him, and we got a dog.
Damn.
120
So what's the
rabbits.
technique? I heard you say you smoke the field out. So
No, we didn't smoke the field out. So the
okay.
sugarcane fields get burned. So where we grew up in straight sugarcane fields. So what they did was dug a little patch over here and said, all right, we're gonna build homes over here, you know what I'm saying? Y'all live here, but we're gonna keep everything surrounded with sugarcane fields.
Gotcha.
The sugar that we eat and use today, the raw sugar from the Florida crystals, that come out of my backyard. That came out of my backyard. I out of them up, right? So learning about that history and knowing like, okay, man, this is bigger than us. You know what I'm saying? Like we can really become, you know what I'm saying, like really something out of this area, man. And using that skill set, we took the cane sticks. So we would break the cane stalks, you know what I'm saying, from the tree before they burn them. You have a cane stalk with you got a book bag with you, you know what I'm saying, and you're gonna hide your book bag and your bicycle down by the ditch so it don't get run over by one of the tractors or the trucks, you know what I'm saying, coming up and down the field, right? So now that we done hit our bikes, we got our book bags, we used to take my uncle, he went to the army. So when he got back from the army, we used to take all his pants because, you know, they got all the pockets and stuff. Bro, we used to take his jackets and stuff, bro. And we used to tie the sleeves up right here on the ends of them and dump all the rabbits inside the hood, inside the jackets, you know what I'm saying? And we had too many to carry in our backpacks, you know what I'm saying? Or in our crate. So what we do, tie a milk crate up to the front of our handlebar on our bicycle. So now we stuffing, you know what I'm saying, rabbits in the milk crate. We got rabbits in our book bag, and we got a dog that we got to carry on the bicycle, you know what I'm saying, all the way back home. So we can't, because the dog done went hunting, you know what I'm saying, we can't have him run all the way back home too. So what we would do as we walking up and down them fields or we chasing them, you got a cane stalk with you. And that cane stalk, if one get too far, you like that cottontail, that one with that white tail, man, you better be ready to run. Cause he gonna run to his heart bust. He ain't trying to slow down for nothing, for nobody. Once he know open field here, it's time to go. So being able to chase down the cottontail, like that technique, they go one on, he gone. You got to know which way he finna zigzag, and you better be able to throw that stick, you know what I'm saying, and get him, you know what I'm saying, so you can hit him. And if you miss him, you like, damn, if that dog don't go get him, yeah, we gotta let him go. We gotta go back over here. We got about 30 more gonna come out. We can't worry about that one, but that cottontail, he worth a little bit more. So you're gonna want to go get that cottontail. That's why we want to chase that cottontail down. The regular one, you can run. We'll come back and get him later. We'll come back down the ditch bank, search for him. He gonna be sitting right here somewhere. Because he was harder to catch.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the ones people know that you're not gonna catch these just sitting around. They're not gonna sit around rabbits. The regular ones, you know what I'm saying, they will, but that cottontail, no, he fast.
So my thing is, how is it a difference in the taste? Because say for instance, I'm selling my rabbits, right? So y'all selling them whole, or y'all skinning them before y'all sell them? All right.
It was a technique. It was a technique.
Right. So is there a difference on how the cottontail and what the jackrabbits look, I guess?
Yeah, so the size of them definitely make a difference, right?
Okay.
So the regular brown rabbit, sometimes they get big, sometimes they're small, right? The cottontail, he's gonna have a little bit more size on him. You know what I'm saying? Because he runs a lot. He made exercises just like humans, right? We all built a little different. You know what I'm saying? How we interact with society. So within their society, they know how they interact. The jackrabbits a little bit bigger. Like as you know, that there's a rabbit family, and they do get bigger, stagnant. You know, throughout their race or their history, whatever, you know, their culture. So they do cost a little bit more because they're harder to catch. So when you out in the field, you trying to at least come home with 4 or 5 cocktails. Cause now we know we getting $5, you know what I'm saying, the rabbit.
Gotcha.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So at the end of the day, so that was the thing. So as far as the technique to cleaning them, and you know what we would do after we get home, we set up a cooler here. One cooler had water in it. One cooler had ice in it. We had a couple buckets set up with water in it. So what we do is dump the rabbit in the water, get him all wet. All the rabbits that we just caught, make sure all of them get wet. We'll poke a hole right in their little Achilles, hang him on the tree on a nail. So now the skin, you know what I'm saying, easy to peel off. So boom, take a knife, you know what I'm saying, cut the skin right around the ankle, you know what I'm saying, you peel him all the way down, clean him out. So now you cut the back of your head off, boom, pull the arms out, cut the front paws off, you know what I'm saying, boom, boom. So you want to leave a little meat, you know what I'm saying, for the front part of him. Just like you clean a piece of chicken, you know what I'm saying, just like you don't clean a bird. Hit him in the middle, gut him up, you know what I'm saying, split him open, take everything out, dump it in the back, in the thing. Give a little bit to the dog, you know what I'm saying, for doing his thing, you know what I'm saying.
Man, I wouldn't have made that. I ain't good with all that blood. I might have passed out.
Yeah. So I said, who's this?
Man, you from South, yo, hey, boy, you from South Carolina, boy, hey, boy, my family from South Carolina too now. Hey,
Man,
we
I ain't
grew up
good
in
with
them
all that
backwoods,
blood,
boy.
man. Tone,
So,
I'd
hey,
have
man.
fainted. I'd have fainted, man. I don't
So,
know.
yeah, let me finish. So once we clean him up, you know what I'm saying, boom, you break the backbone, because now you want to make sure he cleaned all the way out. You're going to clean everything out on him, boom. Take him all the way up, bust him open, clean him out, you know what I'm saying, split all the inside. We want everything out. We don't want number meat showing. That's it. So all the skin, everything from the inside, you ain't going to see none of that. All that gone. So now once we clean that out, we take him, put him in the other bucket, boom, dump him out, soak him up, make sure he cleaned all the way up, make sure he got all the hair off on. We only leave 1 foot on. So people know you ain't no raccoons, you ain't no, you know what I'm saying, whatever, no cat, dog, none of that, nah, we call rabbit. So I always leave 1 foot on, you know what I'm saying, that you hang up, you know what I mean, cut all the other feet off, you know what I'm saying, boom. So now you make sure he cleaned up. And just like you would, at the end of the day, once you drop him in the big bucket, he gets soaked in, drop him in the cooler for the ice. That way he gonna sit at.
Wow.
So yeah, I had to learn that, you know, by sitting back, watching my uncles and my granddad, you know what I'm saying, just, you know, do that. And it was like, dang, I want to learn how I want to get up there and do that, you know, as a little kid. And then when it's your turn, it's like, boy, you just went hunting and you got to get back. So we riding bicycles. Now you got to clean them. Now you got to make sure, you know what I'm saying, they put back up, put in the bucket in the cooler or the deep freezer. And we was just stack deep freezers full of rabbits and fish. And that's what we use to survive.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, shout out to your family.
That's a nice tutorial on how to catch
The
rabbits
skills, man.
and clean rabbits.
That's wild, man. That's crazy. Yeah,
Man.
and a great tutorial.
Great story.
Yes,
and I'll tell you this much too, fellas. I haven't yet to meet someone from Belle Glade or Pahokee who's slow. It makes sense.
Yeah. ain't nobody from the mucks at all.
No, them boys running.
Yes,
them
sir.
boys running,
Yes, sir.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That skill set was definitely developed, you know, from that.
Yeah. So Tone, we all know, you know, your story, outstanding high school career. You ended up going to the Ohio State University, right? But for you, who was a close second? Like, what was the school you almost went to if you weren't going to Ohio State, if you didn't go to Ohio State?
Wow. It boiled down to almost wanting to be with Phillip Rivers in North Carolina State.
Wow. I didn't know
Phillip
that.
had the hot hand for 2 years, his freshman and sophomore year. And I was like, wow, I'm right here watching this guy on television like every day, every Saturday. And I thought that would be a good fit for me at that time. And it came down to me and another receiver being able to select which school we wanted to go to. And uh, I can't remember his name, but he was from Fort Myers, and he was getting ready to commit to Ohio State. And I was like, wait, if he committed to Ohio State wanted me, I'm about to commit to NC State. I was like, wait, I'm gonna go take his commitment. I'm gonna go to Ohio State. See if he come to Ohio State. Cause now I wanted to be teammates with this dude. Cause he was over in Fort Myers as one of the top receivers, you know what I'm saying, in the nation. And I think his last name was Washington, if I can't recall. And I wanted to play with him. I wanted to be on this team. So when he had already committed to going to Ohio State, I went to commit to Ohio State. And then when he decommitted and went to NC State, I was like, oh, come on, bro. Like, I wanted to come play with you, you know? So at the end of the day, that was the reason why I ended up choosing to go to Ohio State, because I really wanted to play with this guy. But I definitely give a lot of credit to my uncle for introducing me to Ohio State when we were younger, watching them play, you know, when we were kids. Uh, we grew up watching Ohio State at home on Saturdays, and he was a big David Boston, you know, fan, and Terry Glenn. You know, that's what he used to always talk about. These guys play for the Cowboys, Joey Galloway, and I'm like, wow, like where did these guys go to school at? And lo and behold, that these guys were all Buckeyes, and that just drew my attention to, you know what? Maybe I should look into going to Ohio State. And then I realized that Ohio State had an interest in me as being one of those type of receivers that played in a system where you only needed two receivers on the football field. I truly felt that I wanted to play within that system because that's what I grew up in high school was you had to earn your spot on the football field. Coach ain't just putting you out there because you one of the guys. And we'll rarely run three receiver sets, but if you ain't the starter, you're not getting on the field till those guys want to come off the field. So I had to develop that attitude and mindset as a young kid waiting my turn in high school to know that if I go play at Ohio State, wait, they run the same type of system that our coaches run here at high school. Oh, I can fit in at Ohio State because I know I can compete with guys to become a starter, you know, just to be the one guy on Saturday on the football field. I love my teammates, but I'd be damned if I didn't want to just be the one guy on the football field, you know, when it comes down to us being like playing on that Saturday, because that's what I envisioned as a kid. That's what I grew up with, that mentality. But it was no knock to like having my teammates, because without them guys that I had, you know, Mike Jenkins, Drew Carter, you know, Chris Gamble, Chris Vance, Bam Childress, you know, John Hollis, like Angelo Chatham, like these guys were like, they were groomers, man. You know, Jamal Luke, like they all showed me different ways to grow within the game when I first came to Ohio State. And that's what I fell in love with. Like, at least four of the guys are from Florida. So I'm like, oh, hell yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm hanging out with some guys from Florida who came to Ohio State with that same mentality. Like, I'm going to be the one guy on the football field. I'm like, okay, I can rock with this shit because this is what I grew up in. And that's what led me to choosing to play at Ohio State.
So, okay, so now you get to Ohio State in 2002, right? What game it was for you that you realized that you was going to have a great career?
Week 6, 2003, we went to Indiana, and I'm still, you know, just a redshirt freshman. And I remember getting the call because we're sitting on the field and Drew Carter gets hurt. And he's having the game. Like, Drew's balling out right now. Like, he is that guy. And when they brought the ambulance on the field, we knew, like, football was seriously like, damn, this is year 6 for Drew. And, like, this can't be real. Like, we're not envisioning this, you know what I mean, happening this year for him. So I'm on the sideline, you know, dumbfounded young redshirt freshman, you know, sitting over there with the rest of the players, you know, just waiting my turn. Man, Coach Trussell yelled out, "Hey, Tone, let's go." Hey, where my helmet at? I ain't been in the game all game. It's like going to the end of the second quarter. And coach called my number, and I get in the game, and I scored my first touchdown, and it was on one of those memory plays that I'm finna gridiron dive this from back home. And you guys know what that gridiron dive look like. You gonna get on TV. If you
Oh yeah.
gridiron dive in the end zone, you getting on TV. So we get in, boom. My first play, we run the slant route, and Craig threw me the ball. Craig Crimson was my quarterback. Craig throws me the ball, and all I thought about was spinning out and going straight for the sideline. And the defender came biting hard, boy, and I spent out on him, and I saw I had the angle, and I just took off, dove in, looked up at the referee, called a touchdown. From that moment, like, I was so ready to play college football. I was so excited. I ended up with 6 catches, 1 fumble for my 3rd touchdown. So I had to throw that in there because Coach Trussell chewed the shit out of me for that. I'm on the goal line with the catch, bro, and taking the step across the end zone, and I didn't think the defender was close to me, bro. He stripped me.
Damn.
And he stripped me. And that joint stuck with me so much, to always look the ball in, always tuck it in with 2 hands, finishing strong. And from that moment, like, I knew I was ready to play. I ended up with like 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, and obviously that 1 fumble for the 3rd touchdown would have been really big. And I was ready to play college football from that moment.
Yeah, that's a big game right there, man.
Yes, sir.
A huge game.
Yeah. So let's go back to a monumental opportunity during your time with Ohio State. January the 3rd, I think it was, 2003, Tempe, Arizona, the Natty game, right? Versus Miami. You guys came into that ball game 11.5-point underdogs. Like, you guys wasn't supposed to have a chance. Of course, good game, goes into double overtime. I'm going to ask you an honest question. I want an honest answer. Was that pass interference in the end zone?
Oh, come on, Tom. It's 30 years from now. Talk to us. I know you're a Florida State fan, but I was a Miami fan. And boy, I was so hot going to school the next day.
Hey, but me, I was at Florida State at the time. I was happy they called pass interference, but I just want to hear it from an individual who was a part of the game. I just want to hear it, Pat P. That's all. I just want to know. Was that pass interference?
When we looked at the replay and saw what we saw as players, honestly, we agreed with the call simply because it was the right call, but it was late.
That was the problem.
Yep. So when Chris Gamble goes to jump up for the football, why is his body still facing this way and he's trying to catch the football from the quarterback throwing him the football that way? It because the guy had his jersey pulled down to where now he got to try to make this ridiculous, you know what I'm saying, type of catch over a defender. It was the right call. It just was a late call. At the end of the day, that's the way I saw it. As a player, as a receiver that played the game, it was the right call. It just was a late call. And in that situation, that, you know what I'm saying, jumped the gun where they let off the Miami Hurricanes confetti that they won the championship, that they didn't decide, the referee didn't decide the football game. The incident that happened on the football field decided the football game.
Right.
Had you not put yourself in that position to do what you did and played it fair and be honest, at the end of the day, Ohio State loses and they go home, you know what I'm saying, not national champion.
Yeah. Hey, that probably to this day was probably top to bottom one of the best national championships that I've probably ever seen. And even going back to, who was the running back after Willis McGahee when he got hurt in that game? Who came in after him? Was it
not
Peyton?
Frank Gore? No. Who played with Willis? Not Clint Porter.
I thought it was Peyton. Gary Payton Jr. I thought.
Yeah, Jared. Yeah, he did. Jared did get in. Yeah.
I think it was Jared.
You say,
I thought
you talking about
he
Walter
had a
Payton's
solid
son?
game as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was him. I don't know. Was it Najee? Was Najee Davenport there in the
But
03, 02
Najee,
year? I think
that's
Najee played.
03. So I think
Yeah, I think Najee
Najee
was there.
Davenport was there.
Yeah.
I can't remember who came in for
Jared
Willis.
Payton, I
That was
think,
a.
was there.
I think it was Jared
hmm
Payton.
Yeah, Willis was having a great
Was
game,
Frank
boy. He was balling.
was it
Uh,
Frank Gore?
Frank was a redshirt freshman that year two.
Wow.
That was his redshirt freshman year, or his freshman year one, something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I
No,
remember running into
that was one of the best games overall, top to bottom, national
being
championship that I've seen.
being on the sideline and witnessing like the way the game was actually played as a national championship coach. You know what I'm saying? From both mindsets. Like I was watching how that game was called, and for those players to make the plays that they made in the
Bro,
game,
I'm
bro.
telling
From seeing Claret chase this dude down at the interception, you know what I'm saying, and script fumble Sean T, like we
you. Yeah.
were in a like guys were in a whole nother atmosphere, bro. It brought so much energy to our sideline to know that this young freshman kid was determined like to lead Ohio State. Like
Yeah.
he without a doubt was our MVP, you know what I'm saying, the entire season. From his freshman game to his last game his freshman year. Like that's the guy that we had expected to come out and do what he did that day to lead us to the national champion. And to know that our defense, and I give all the credit to these guys, you know what I'm saying, for the way that they deal with the turmoil throughout the season and building themselves up to be the number one defense, in the nation at that time. I credit our defensive staff for allowing us as offensive players who had to run those plays over and over in the practice squad for the defense to see every play that they ran on offense. Myself, Troy Smith, Roy, all the other receivers that we had that would go into practice, Bam, Molee, bro, we was cooking them boys on defense. We was running these other team offenses so good to where our defense had no other choice but to know exactly what they was going up against every day in practice. So when the game time came along, these guys was like, okay, you can catch these little plays right here, but we're gonna pick you off, we're gonna stop you from scoring, and we're gonna make you kick field goals. So it's like, damn, we saw this happening in practice every day. So when we had 2.5 weeks or whatever, a month and a half from December when we played our last game in November. So these boys had time from November to figure out who we playing in the national championship come January. They had a long time to practice and get that stuff right, just like how we did throughout the whole season, where we was running these plays over and over and over and over. And to see that our defense came out and like really clamped them down on the last drive of the game when these boys on the 6-yard line, no one is expecting Miami to not score here on the 6-yard line.
Yeah.
That's the game. Like we can't talk about that penalty that happened in the first overtime or whatever to lead to whatever.
No question.
We talk about that last play that you had a chance on your 6-yard line with our backs against the end zone.
And Tone, like I said, they were 11.5-point favorites. Like the game wasn't even supposed to go in overtime, the very first one. I mean, they played with their food a little bit. Probably came in with a lot of confidence because they were a great team.
Because we don't score points.
Yeah. That was the big
and they were saying you guys couldn't handle their speed. I remember that. Like y'all wasn't fast enough.
Oh, I mean, them boys was light. They was running up and down that field like it was, you know what I'm saying, track meet, boy.
Oh, I know, Tone. You know, we played them in the regular season.
But as long as we did what was the defensive strategy was, let them do whatever they want to do. When they get to where we are in the jar, we close the jar on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our defense was always built on. I hated it because we were in game situations where in the middle of the season and we're like, come on, man, y'all gonna give up a 3rd and 17 like today? Well, guess what? By the time they get down here to the end zone, we got an interception or they kicking the field goal and we still up. Like we ain't do nothing.
Right. They closed the jar.
That mentality was there all season and these boys did not let the jar open, you know what I'm saying, when it was time. They kept the jar closed.
Yeah, man, that's dope. So your number ended up getting called after your junior year. You obviously did a lot of great things your sophomore year. Junior year had a outstanding season that year. So you end up declaring into the draft after that, after your junior year. When
Yes.
did you know that you was high on the Pittsburgh Steelers board? I mean, was there a team that you felt that could have gotten there second if Pittsburgh didn't draft you?
Man, that was a great question. I got the call from Pittsburgh draft day. Uh, I saw Coach Cowher at our combine. I saw him at the pro day. It was no talk. It was never. And then Antoine Randall goes to Washington, and they are without a third receiver, but also a guy that could actually, play special teams as well. Um, that was that was the information that was given to me after I was selected. So prior to that, I had no clue if I was, playing for Pittsburgh. My dream as a kid was to play for Pittsburgh. My first little league football team was black and gold. So at the end of the day, like I always wanted to play there, but I had no clue. They the last pick of the first round. I ain't getting drafted last pick, but that's what my stepdad told me on draft day. He gonna look at me while he over there cooking on the grill, talking about, hey, you're going to Pittsburgh. I said, Dad, I'm not going to Pittsburgh. They got the last pick of the first round, bro. I'm going way before that. I know I'm going off the board before the first round. I've been already told that I'm going top 15 pick.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, boom. Picks start happening. So I get these calls. I get New Orleans. I get the Dolphins. I get, I think it was Arizona. And the Steelers call. So when they called, it was like, hey, hang tight. We're thinking about drafting you. And this is around pick 12, 13. So I'm like, man, y'all got the 32nd pick, bro. I really don't think I'm being drafted to Pittsburgh at all. So pick 14, 16, 18. Damn. Okay. I guess we're not going to the top 20, that was projected for us, right? So I was
Right.
like, okay, cool. Pick 21, pick 22 happened. I get the phone call. Like, hey, are you still interested in, being a Steeler? I'm like, what you mean? Like, am I getting drafted like 32nd or am I getting drafted right now? And he's like, just hang tight. We'll give you a call back. So the call back rang on the 23rd pick. And then they had me on the phone. And that's when they said they was making a trade. And that's when I got traded to the 25th pick with the New York Giants. And then that's when they was like, all right, you taking me. And then I'm watching on the thing, and it was like with the 25th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers trade up to get Santonio Holmes. And I just turned and looked at my mom and just started crying. I was like, this really happened. Like, I really saw myself in 95, like, wanting to be on that football field wearing the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform as a little kid. Mad at our receivers, mad at our team for losing in the championship game because the people that I had to live with in the house, they were Cowboy fans.
Mm. Mm.
So I had to live with that, in 95, like every day, like how the Steelers got beat, how they lost the championship, how the receivers did this. So when I got that call to be drafted to Pittsburgh, all I saw in my eyes was the championship. At some point, boy, this team got to win the championship. It just so happened I get drafted to them the year they win the second. I said, you got God, like why'd you like one more year, like what you like so it was like, man, how did this happen? Like I come to the Super Bowl team, but they already won championship. They ain't even, it's not even part of what I'm doing. So I embraced like being in that culture. So when it was my turn to like be in that culture, I knew exactly what this felt like. I knew exactly the type of people I was surrounding myself with when they drafted me. And Coach Cowher came and said, you know what? You can play for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what, Tone? You talked about your draft like story. When I got drafted to Pittsburgh, I was surprised too because I didn't talk to nobody. Like I
Yep.
saw them at the combine. I think Kevin Colbert came to my pro day. That's it. I ain't have no personal visit with them. I ain't have no conversations with them. It was
Yep.
like that was the last place I thought I was going because usually during the draft process you have dialogue back and forth with certain teams. They're trying to
Mm-hmm.
inquire more about you. And you saying your story kind of resembles mine because I got like Pittsburgh, man. I ain't talked to them. What we doing? But
Right. Right.
they know what they do. It works well. And when I remember when we drafted you, I was doing an event right at Heinz Field for the draft, and first thing I said, okay, we got another Florida boy up here. That's right. He from Palm Beach. He from Belgrade, but I know he running. And as to your point, we lost L, and we knew we needed to address that vacancy with a guy
Absolutely.
with some speed and that can create some splash plays for us. So you already remember how I welcome you with open arms. I'm like, man,
Yes,
let's
sir.
let's go rock and roll. And
So go ahead.
your rookie year, I have a favorite play of you that I will never forget. And I want to hear what your favorite play was your rookie year. But the play that I love about you was last game of the season, Cincinnati. We needed to win to try to get into the playoffs, and we needed some help. And Cincinnati needed to win also to get into playoffs. We go into overtime, Pat P. It was a tongue-in-cheek game the entire game for 4 quarters. We in overtime. Offense out there. We like, man, bro, we got to go ahead and get this in. They called 10 number on the slant. And one thing about Santonio, he, of course, not a big receiver, but if you don't have the right angle on the slant to make that tackle or make a play on the ball, he out of there. Like that guy on the slant route, boy. They call that slant route, man. 10 struck up that sideline. I think they had Death O'Neal,
They,
Jonathan Joseph. They had some guys that can run. Couldn't go get them.
yep. 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 So wow. When you asked me that, Mac, that was immediately the first play that I was going to. When you said favorite play, without a doubt, rookie year, to know that like that trust was developed like right away. When I used to stand next to Seven in the huddle, and I would just always say to him, "Whenever you're ready, just let me know." That's it. I knew as a young kid like how to play the game, how to be prepared for football, but more importantly, you're not getting every play like you did in Little League, bro. You're not going to play the game of football, you know what I'm saying, at this level, at that position like you played in Little League. So my coach in high school had already prepared me, like I talked about earlier. The kind of offensive system that I was playing in was built and designed for where I ended up playing at in Pittsburgh. Two receivers on the football field with a tight end and two running backs. I loved it being in that position. So when I came in as a young rookie, oh boy, I'm trying to take somebody's spot because I only want to be the next receiver on the football field.
Right.
Because I know what they're looking for. They want to see the guy on the football field make plays. So guess what I'm ready to do? I'm ready to make plays when I get on the football field. And it just so happened, I think week 13, Cedric Wilson, I want to say gets into something, goes down with an injury. I think he had a high ankle sprain.
Mm-hmm.
And BA came up to me and was like, "Hey kid, you ready to start?" And I was like, "Hold up. You mean tell me like I'm finna start like in the NFL like week 13? Like damn, about time." So, I'm ready, like inside, but I'm like, hell yeah, coach, like I'm ready. And I think from that moment, like that trust was developed in that relationship with myself and Ben was that even though I didn't get playing time with him throughout that season, it was sprinkle plays here and there to see if we can get this rookie acclimated to the NFL. And by the time we got to step on the field as starters together, I was punching him in the gut every time. Hey Ben, I'm open. Hey Seven, can I get a ball? Hey, can you throw me a football? Hey, can I get one? Can I get a pass? Here I am, rookie year. I'm only averaging 3 catches a game. And I'm like, man, I know I'm better than that. But I had to understand the way the chemistry was developing and what was stirring in our pot was he had to build trust in me. It's like I can't just come in as a rookie and he started throwing footballs, and then when he did, I had a couple drops, boy. Hey, and when I did, it was like, hey, I don't know. You've been nagging me all game, and here you are. You don't drop the pass on me. Now I can't have you dropping passes in the middle of the game. So I would stay after football practice every day with him from that moment on. Was like, nope, you're not gonna have this guy here in front of you. You're gonna have somebody else that you trust in front of you. And when that moment came where he said, if I give you this look signal or I tap my face mask, I'm gonna need you to come right now. I can't have you wait, you know what I'm saying, one step deep. I need you to come right now. So that step off the line has to be right now. It can't be one up and then go. I need you right now. And when I saw that safety come down, they inverted, pushed the linebacker all the way out to cover me on the press. Man, like, what you doing? And we got a now route call. Oh yeah, I'm taking this. I got it, man. By the time Seven threw that football, and I knew that he missed, I had my eyes all the way on the back of the end. So I started turning around that corner and was getting up out of there. I didn't even try to look back. By the time I was looking back, I was running like this the whole time looking back. I was like, oh, I ain't looking back. I gotta get to this end zone. This is the last play of the game. Like, boy, I'm finna break day back. And I'm back in the state where I was winner at, where I'm in Ohio.
Yep.
And guess what I did after I did? I tried to get up and do the OHIO, and Debo jumped right on my back. You know what I'm saying? Right on my back, bro, and pulled me in. You know what I'm saying? So I never forget that moment. Just like taking that one to the house, ending their season, but knowing like I had built a relationship with a football team that was gonna trust me, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day.
Man, speaking of moments, there's another moment you would never forget. We're going to fast forward to Super Bowl 43. We're going to talk about the game-winning drive, the catch. Then after that, you became the third Pittsburgh Steelers receiver to win the Super Bowl MVP, as you got the MVP hoodie on right now. Tell us not only about that drive and the catch, but how did that achievement change your life?
It took a lot just to get to that moment in the Super Bowl, and knowing that it was a change in energy like throughout that year, because I had to deal with broken ribs from week 5. I'm playing every game, trying not to lose my starting job. Like, I ain't letting nobody play above me. I don't care. I'm finna play. I'm gonna keep going. If I can run, if I can catch it, if I got to catch all body catches, if I got to just be out here on the field, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna still play. And I developed, that attitude that I am willing to play for this team, no matter what. But more importantly, it was the sacrifice that I had already been instilled with, that if you're injured and you can't play, then you sit down. If you're hurt and you can play, then you play with no complaints. And that was a part of what the Pittsburgh Steelers culture was about. So knowing that we was winning games, but we'll lose one, we'll win 3, we'll lose one, we'll win 3, lose one. It was like, man, we're on this roller coaster right now, up and down throughout the season. But all we need to do is make one play at the end of the season. That's it. At the end of the game. At the end of every game, all it came down to just making one play. Whether it was a defensive play, whether it was a stop, whether it was a blocked field goal, whether it was a sack, whether it was a big catch for the first down to end the game, whether it was a field goal to win the game or a catch to end the game. We was winning ball games just by pure finishing the ball game at the end of every game, no matter what. We don't care what the score is. If we can get one more point than them, then we can win the ball game, we can live with that. So taking that journey into the Super Bowl, we already knew all we needed to do was score on the last play of the game. And I'm not saying that with my mentality of being the MVP today. I'm saying that knowing that we played every game throughout the season, that if we didn't blow these teams out, that we was in a dogfight. And the way the Arizona Cardinals have been playing, throughout that game, they already came in with the attitude that they're going to put up points. But we had a team that was relentless. When it came down to us being in that Super Bowl moment, last drive, last game, The only thing going through my mind at that time was, dude, you haven't made a play all game. So I walked over to our quarterback and I tapped him on the hip and said, hey, man, I want the ball right now.
Mm.
And prior to that, Mac came up to me, hey, 10, what you going to do?
Yep.
What you going to do, 10? What you going to do? Hey, Mac, you know what it is. I'm daring to be great, baby. It's time to be great, Mac.
I sure
And
did.
I remember that. I remember that moment. All of that was driven back to my childhood moment, my state championship game that I played in that I didn't score any touchdowns in, the national championship game that I was a part of that I didn't score a touchdown in. All of that was screwing and brewing inside my pot, you know what I'm saying? At that moment, it was like, dude, you've been playing in big games. You've been a part of these moments, but what you did, you ain't did nothing. I just kept telling it to myself, you know what I'm saying? You ain't did nothing in none of these games. I mean, you helped the team get there. You prepared them to do what they're doing. Yeah, you were a part of it, but what did you do? And that's when I started saying to myself, well, I'm daring to be great then. I'm internally like building up this moment that, well, I think we got enough time on the clock. Yeah, I left a lot of time on the clock, so let's go do it. And I had already put myself in that position to make the play because Hines Ward wasn't 100% healthy going into the final drive of the game. Heath Miller was getting double teamed, you know what I'm saying, as much as they could probably double team Heath all game. Nate Washington wasn't getting open because they kept sending two people over top of him because they said, you're not beating us deep all game. And now it's left for me standing on the field like, bro, you got a rookie covering you all game, and this dude done locked you down all game. You got like 2 catches, 3 catches, you know what I'm saying, up to this point in the game. You ain't did nothing. That's all I kept saying to myself. And I take it to that moment, it led me back to Coach Prime. Coach Prime, when he was an analyst at the Super Bowl, at that game, I ran into him in the mall. And me and Nate Washington and I think Willie P, we were walking around the mall and we were buying pet shoes. He's like, hey, 10, I hear you got, I see you got this rookie gonna be covering you all game. And he's like, shit, I heard he's pretty good, you know. And he started giving me all this rundown about this rookie, Dominique Rogers-Camarda. And I said to him, and I remember this vividly, I said, Coach, no, I said, Prime, he ain't gonna know what to do when he see me on the field. That's exactly what I said to him. And I started thinking in that moment, dude, that dude been locking you down all game. You got 4 or 5 catches for like 30-something, 40 yards. Like, you ain't did nothing all game. So when that moment came and we were in the last drive, I walked up to Ben and I tapped him and I said, I want the ball right now. I didn't know if he heard me. He sure didn't acknowledge me. Shit, I scrapped up, walked on the football field. First play call, we called with a skinny on the backside. I ain't even put my right foot in the ground to turn my head, but the ball hit me in the hip. I had my eye on him the whole time to see if he was listening to me when I stepped on the field. So for me to be ready at that moment, like I was ready at that moment, like without a doubt, like to take over that football game had he really heard me. And lo and behold, that freaking guy heard me. He was on the same page because then he hit me and I caught it with that first down. And I got up and I had my chest pumped. I was so ready to play football right then. Like, this is the moment that you step up and play big time football right now. That guy heard what I said. Bro, we got a penalty on the play.
Move back.
Not only we move back, King, we got to punt the ball away. We got to punt the ball away. We got safety. We got safety on the play.
Oh,
yeah.
So now
I remember that now.
So now the whole dynamics of the game changed. So it's like, oh, it's over. It's over. Like, dang, that shit lasted like that fast, like it is gone.
Then y'all got We forced a punt, right? We forced a punt.
Forced
Got
the
it
punt.
ball back. That's when the last drive.
Yes, sir. That's when the final drive came in.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So from that moment, like Seven had to hurt me, but that catch didn't count towards my stats
Yeah.
because that done came back. So I ain't got about four, 5 catches in the game still. We got 2 minutes left in the game. You got 5 catches in the Super Bowl. You're the number one wide receiver on the team. That make sense. Man, for some reason, I was shortening up some of my routes. I was just trying to play football, get the ball out of 7 hands as fast as possible. When he caught me on that first little crossing route, you know what I'm saying, and saw me late, and I caught that ball and got forward and got that first down, and he came back again to me on a curl route where the guy jumped up and hit, you know what I'm saying? We had a couple plays in between, but these are all the plays that I'm giving you how the scenario played out for me in the game to lead to this here without having to go through all of those. Seeing that happen and like he threw the ball and I never touched the football. I felt the defender coming to punch the ball. I knew that he was swiping at it. So all I did was I fell to the ground and I had the football in my hand like this and I couldn't even like shake myself. I got up with the football like this in my hand, like to hand it to the referee. So I was so locked in and glued into like performing in that moment that nothing was phasing me. I wanted the football every play. Like, hey boy, hey, I'm open every play. Like this is you in the backyard with your friends, and you know the score 49-49, and y'all getting late, y'all tired. Like, bro, if last person score, you know what I'm saying, win the ball game, and we end up with the football last play. I'm running to the short field. I'm trying to get all the little first down so we can keep the ball moving. You know what I'm saying, for the team, so that we can do our thing. I don't have to be the guy to win the ball game, but I want to be a part of the reason that we win the ball game. And when I got a chance to catch that curl route and I felt that DB slip, oh, that spin move came into play. Way back when I tell you about my first touchdown in college football, that spin move came into play last game of the season. Oh, it was so beautiful. I was able to turn up field. Ain't nobody in sight. Oh, Heath, get the block. Heath, get the block. Oh, I get tackled from behind because he saw Francisco coming behind me. I'm looking at the dude. If you block him, I'm walking in the end zone. Like, we win the ball game. This is a walk-off. You know what I'm saying? We are done. It just so happened get stopped on the 6-yard line. First play come up. I didn't even know this was a play designed for me to be open. It just so happened Seven stopped back and looked, and I'm in the backside of the left corner of the end zone, wide open. He lost it up in the back of the end zone, and I go up for the ball, and all I could think about, Tone, are you close enough or are you inbound? Do I need to get my feet down? And by the time I was able to put my hands up to make that catch, I took my eyes immediately to the ground to see if I was inbound, and that ball went right through my fingertips. I hit the ground. I sat up, put my head down, and all I could say to myself was, dude, you just blew the chance to be the Super Bowl MVP. This is what I told myself. You just blew your chance to be the Super Bowl MVP. Everybody at home watching you right here in your backyard in Belgrade, and you just blew the game in the Super Bowl. Everybody watching you. Shit happens in the game. Like, you drop a pass. Like, it happens. Just so happened it happened to be me at that moment, at that time, that redemption came on a play that we had been practicing. And I can tell you, since the first day of the playoffs, I think we got that play either caught, intercepted, batted away, or dropped, or thrown out of bounds. Since the first day we practiced in the postseason of that season, going into that last play.
What was the play call? Can you give us a play call? You remember?
I honestly don't remember the play call because the teams that I played on, variations of them change to the same play call, so I don't recall. But the route concept was similar to running the sit route and a post corner in the back. Yep, in the back of it. And having the running back flare out to control, the flat concept, flat home route and the corner route.
Yeah.
We practiced this play, BMac, and if you recall, the last play that we ran at Super Bowl practice, was the same exact play.
Mm.
And what I did at the back of the end zone was I put my hands up and bend through the football right through my hands. And I watched the football hit the ground and I walked away. We came into the huddle. They did the victory celebration on the next play and we broke it down. And that was the last play that we ran in practice.
Mm-hmm.
When we came into that huddle and Savin was looking at me, hey, I'm laughing right now because it's funny as hell, but hey, that dude had a unit on his face, bro, that would struck lightning, boy, had you looked wrong. Hey, he was so hot. He was so hurt, disappointed. Like, bro, I just caught you right in the back of the end zone wide open for the touchdown and you dropped the football. Like, what do you, like, I remember Hines coming up, he was like, hey, young fella, we can't have that, but the next one, we're gonna need this for the championship. I'm like, don't worry, shake it off. You'll be all right. Heath Miller standing next to me. Don't worry about it, Tone. He coming back to you on the next play. Man, he gonna throw you the football on the next play. He ain't coming back to me. I done blew mine. My welder was like, Tone, come on, man. You better than that, Tone.
The creeper.
Like, hey. So he came in, he called that play. And I remember walking out of the huddle and I was like, damn, he finna throw me this football.
Oh, so you knew the ball was coming to you again.
He throwing me this football.
They ran the same play and flipped it to the other side.
The other side. Yep.
Yeah.
So based on safety leverage in that play call, as I'm coming out to set up, I'm looking around. Hines is outside, Mawilda in the backfield. Nate is over. Heath is on the outside. Hines come in motion inside. The linebacker now walks right over top of me. Right then and there, he done fucked the play up. Excuse my French, but that's all I'm thinking in my head was, oh, man, how am I going to get past him and get to the corner at the same time? Dansby gets up and throws his hands up at me, and he flinches at me. And you guys as defenders know what a flinch does to a receiver if you've been physical enough, jammed him up a few times, or just taking the presence of the moment right now is that if he stopped me from getting off of this line of scrimmage right now with a jam, this play might be a disaster for us. We're looking at third down.
Mm-hmm.
He pump faked at me. Man, and I swatted so hard trying to get past that dude because I knew he was a physical dude. So I'm trying to get past them hands. Man, I went head over, dude, almost falling to the ground right out of that play. And as I got up, I turned so fast to look back for Seven, like to see if he had already threw the football, because that disrupted the timing like that much to me, that fast. So by the time I got up, I looked to see Francisco is not outside of me, but I still got to take it into the end zone 6 yards before I break off. I cannot break it earlier than 6 yards. And I broke it right at 6 yards. But as I'm running to the back of the pylon, I'm throwing my hand up because I had already saw everything spread wide open in the back. Like, hey, I'm open right now. Throw it to me. And as I'm running to the back, I just see the football coming. I stopped. I was like, I can't go no more. I know I'm close to the sideline, but I don't know where but I'm here. I can't. If I take another step, I'm out of bounds.
No question.
And as I put my hands up, the ball is right there. The same play that this guy had been throwing all season long. From the time the off season, me and Ben used to stay after practice in the off season and just throw corner routes for touchdown that whole entire 2008 season. Leading up until the last play that we practiced, leading up until the Super Bowl, to the last play that we threw together that solidified our relationship and our career, happened at the last play of the game that was desired for us. That he had that trust built in him from day one, that he knew exactly where to throw the football, in my opinion. Because he had already felt how tall I played, how big I played, where he needed to project that football at, because we did the same play over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over. Whether it was completed, incompleted, whether it was intercepted, patted down, whatever. We just didn't complete the plays. And for BA to call that play in the Super Bowl, the last play of the game, to give us a chance to win, that was just coach knowing exactly what to do in that situation. And we took full advantage of it. And we became Super Bowl champions. And that moment helped solidify the presence of Santonio Holmes in the National Football League as a Super Bowl MVP.
Tone, what were you more concerned with? Catching the ball or making sure your feet were inbound? Because both was unbelievable. Like the pass that Ben was able to get, the trajectory, the people it had to go over. But when you go back and watch that highlight, I've watched 1,000 times. It's like, how did he catch it? How was Ben able to get the ball there? And how you got your feet inbounds? Like, which one were you more concerned with knowing where you were on the football field?
Man, you put me in the pickle jar right there, boy, because it play hand in hand unconsciously.
Yeah.
When you practice this moment, so in high school, my wide receiver coach in my freshman year when I played JV, he would always tell me, "Hey, Tone, try to practice getting 2 feet down in high school." Like, Coach, we in high school. Why do I need to practice getting 2 feet down in high school when all it counts is 1 foot down in football? Tone, can you practice on getting 2 feet down every time you catch a football in the end zone? Every time I catch a football on the sideline, practice getting 2 feet down. If I have to only get one down, deal with it. But the goal is to always get 2 feet down. So I had this idea in my head that I always had to catch every pass. So in college, I remember a game, my redshirt freshman year, we played against Kansas State in the bowl game. Was my redshirt freshman year? I think it was. We played Kansas State in the bowl game, and I ended up with 2 touchdowns, and I caught both of them on the back line of the end zone. So one, I'm running down the sideline, and the quarterback threw it to me, boom, and I catch it in the back of the end zone. And another one, he launches a deep post route, and when I say my feet were back of the line, like dragging, like catching the end zone, because I knew, like, it just having that instinct.
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to be in that moment at that time, you have to know your surroundings. So throughout my NFL career, throughout my college career, I learned from this thing that we use in practice called the red line. And you guys know how much of an advantage that red line is if you understand how to play through it, play from it, play inside or outside of it. I learned my steps from that red line based on how I played, based on how our routes were called on the football field. So now I got to learn when and where to give my quarterback room to throw me inside of that red line, no matter if I'm in the back of the end zone or I'm running down the middle of the football field. That space has to be created within knowing how do I take as many steps inside or outside of this red line box that I can now be close to the sideline or I'm inbounds. So this is a skill set that mentally that I developed from playing the game by taking advice from my coaches on how to play the game. So all the coaches have developed this way of teaching you, but what you get from them is what you iterate on your game plan on the football field. So from the red line, if I take anywhere between 2 and 4 steps, depending on the speed that I'm running at, I have to settle myself after that. Yep. So if I'm running an out route full speed, I can only get 2 big steps in and everything else has to be small from that point on.
Yeah.
But if I'm running a corner route from there, I got 4 big steps inside of an angle to get to my landmark at the corner of wherever I'm running. If I'm from the 50-yard line and I'm running to the 40-yard line, I got that angle that I need to understand how to create that pocket for where that quarterback needs to throw that football. Yeah. So knowing where that space is on the red line that's invisible to me now in the middle of football, you have to now put that red line out there, like where these 4 steps going to come from, you know what I'm saying, if I'm right here. But if I'm a little bit closer, I got 3.5. But if I'm a little bit wider, I got 4, and I got a little room to wiggle in. So now knowing how to set up and knowing where you're going to play in that position, taking that into consideration, if this guy give me a free release off the football, I'm running right to that spot, and I'm going to take in consideration if I'm running full speed, am I running to catch this football fast and get to a spot, or am I getting to a spot and I'm waiting to catch a football? So now my steps change and how much space I got to get to that sideline and to that angle. So knowing that I'm already hitting that corner route looking for Ben, I ain't got but 4 steps. And if I take anywhere more than 4 steps, I'm going to be somewhere out of bounds.
Mm.
I don't know where I'm at on the football field, but if I take more than 4 steps, I'm somewhere out of bounds.
Yeah.
So I took that into consideration, and which gave me that yard and a half or half a yard, 2 yards from the sideline to know that I was still in bounds with a little bit more space, you know what I'm saying, to carry. But it played down to, like Mac said, did the feet get down?
Mm.
Did you focus on getting the feet down? I didn't want to leave the ground when he threw the football based on the fact that I had just dropped the football because I left the ground on the last play.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that if I leave the ground, I might either be out of bounds, I might step on the line, or might get 1 foot in or whatnot. So my goal was to just stay here until I saw that football, and my 6'7" wingspan was all the space that 7 needed to place the ball on my outstretched hands, to where nobody was able to touch this football.
No question.
And that's one of those moments that you say as a kid when you're playing corner lot football and you got the sidewalk as you're out of bounds, that, hey, just put it out here because he ain't going to reach all the way out here to catch that football or knock it down.
Yeah.
And you throw it out as far as you can catch it and you make that play happen. And that's one of those backyard moments that 7 just knew where to put the football, in my opinion, in the right place to solidify that throw and catch for us to win the Super Bowl.
Man, one of the more memorable plays in Super Bowl history.
No doubt.
And unfortunately for the Arizona Cardinals, a play they hate still to this day. And I'm happy I was on the right end of the stick when it comes to luck on that play. And to your point, man, repetition is super important when it comes to making routine plays happen routinely. Great storytelling by Santonio Holmes. Before I let you go, Tone.
Hey, that's what Matt called me, y'all. So when you hear him say that Santone, that's him.
Hey, I call him Santone. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know where I came up with it from. I said, man, Santone. That's my guy. Hey, Tone, before we let you go, what are you up to nowadays? You know what I mean? What you have going on nowadays, being far removed from the game like we all are?
Mac, we just get older and get better with time, man. I'm actually 40 years old this year, and just enjoying life, playing golf as much as I can, staying active. But more importantly, raising kids, watching my little ones grow and getting my kids off to college, and just being a father and supporting them, in their journey along the way is so important to me right now. I run 2 nonprofits. One is called 10 All In Foundation, where we're geared at supporting STEM education, mental health, and getting minority kids involved in the game of golf. And I also have another nonprofit called the Third and Long Foundation, which I've been the founder of this for over 14 years. And it supports families and children with sickle cell disease, something that is near and dear to my heart. I carry the sickle cell trait, but I had my firstborn son, who's now 22 years old and soon to be a proud father here soon. So that makes me a 40-year-old grandpa, here in the making. So, life is good, Mac, and that's what I do. I support these nonprofits and, help other organizations, raise funds to support them as well.
Hey, well, viewers, you heard them. 2 outstanding nonprofits. If you want to learn more about those nonprofits, you got the name. You can give us some more information as the website, anything like that. So some of our viewers might want to check a little more about what you have going on.
Absolutely. So the 10allin.org is the foundation for STEM education, and thirdandlongfoundation.org is the foundation for sickle cell disease. And
there you have it.
Yes, sir.
There you have it. 9-year NFL vet, first round selection, Pittsburgh Steelers. Super Bowl champion.
Also, the merchandise coming out soon, so definitely in the process of building a website, for us. So if you want anything, DM me. I got hoodies and T-shirts. Let me know your sizes, and we can get some things shipped out to you. So yeah, got a lot of merchandise in the brew right now for the MVP brand.
MVP, no question. I mean, you got to be a special guy to have that MVP on your chest, man. That's well earned, man. Forever.
This is for the most valuable people, though. See, it ain't
I love that.
It ain't even for the MVP. Cause see, these white bars here, Mac, I'm not above the bottom line. Yeah, people can sign me up as the MVP, but I ain't even above the bottom line because it's
I
all
like
about
it.
people. And this
I
one
like it.
star represents like that portion of what makes that thing complete. I'm only one of them.
Hey,
I'm not the most, you know what I mean? But we all are. We all are most important people, and that's what I want to push this brand to people to believe that they are the most important people in everybody's lives.
oh, that's dope. That's dope.
Absolutely.
That's dope.
Like
Well,
to
shoot,
hear.
Tone, man, thank you for joining us, man. Give
Yes,
us
sir. I send your boys a hoodie. I send y'all
yeah,
boys a
yeah.
hoodie.
Send us
Send
a
me the
hoodie, man.
sizes.
Send us a
Yes,
hoodie,
sir.
man. We appreciate it. We definitely rocking on the show, man. Once again, Super Bowl
Absolutely.
champion, former teammate, Santonio Holmes, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl 43 champion, and Ohio State legend. Ohio State doing some pretty good things, man. So you probably see Santone at one of the games.
Yes,
You were just
sir.
at a game, right?
Oh man, I'm always at the Ohio State games, at home games. I love to go cheer on our Buckeyes, man. I live in Columbus, Ohio, so to be able to travel to watch the Buckeyes play on Saturday and end up in Pittsburgh on Sunday, God couldn't have put me in a better place for me to be a part of, where I needed to be at in life, and I'm very thankful, to be here in this situation, man. So absolutely, Matt. So yeah.
It is.
Hey, so what? We talking about these Pittsburgh Steelers this year? What we doing?
Oh, I got one
What we,
last question for you. One last
yeah,
question for you.
let's
Because
go.
Pat computer about to die.
Yep.
Who makes it to a Super Bowl first? The Steelers or the Jets? Your two former teams. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What?
Which organization makes it to a Super Bowl first?
So look, so what makes it so hard is that we're both in the AFC competing against the Kansas City Chiefs. So
Yep.
you
Yep.
already put me in a pickle jar right there where I got to choose. Uh, Based on start of the season, end of the season, new vision, new future, man, I'm gonna depend on my Pittsburgh Steelers at this point.
Yeah.
I root for the Jets every Sunday. I'm always in my Jet gear. I'm always watching the guys, play. I'm supportive of the defense. Very supportive of the organization. Still love, being a part of the Jet because once a Jet, always a Jet. I love it to know that a change has to happen is knowing when the change is going to happen and not
Mm.
knowing when the change is going to happen. And in Pittsburgh, knowing that you brought in two championship winning individuals, that you've already stirred up that pot enough to where that was probably one of the missing pieces that we haven't had in the last 2-3 years,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's where I'm putting my trust in my black and gold Steelers. But shout out to Aaron Rodgers. Sucks that they lost the first game of the season. They played a tough game against the San Francisco 49ers, but more importantly, he was healthy. He was able to come out, play the game efficiently, and we look forward to seeing the Jets on the rise, man. I'm gonna still be supportive, baby. Here we
No
go.
question. You answered it the right way. I agree with you as well because it's safe to say Aaron Rodgers is closer to the end of his career than the beginning. And you don't know what happens once he's no longer there at the quarterback spot. And at least we have two valuable options after this year, that could give us some type of production. But to your point, that Pat Mahomes ain't going nowhere. So just to get out of the AFC to get that point, yeah, good luck because
He is
them boys
wrecking
hell.
shop over there, man.
Them
He
boys
is
hell.
wrecking
Yes,
shop.
sir,
That was a
Tone.
tough game that Baltimore lost. Now that was that
Yeah.
was a very tough game. Baltimore should have won that football game. There was a lot of unfortunate calls, and even in our Steeler game, there was a lot of unworthy calls. That our players could have had. Keep the record books piling up, man. You can't. Hey, that boy T.J. Watt is the real deal. We can't
Best
not
in the
give him
world.
enough credit. You know what I'm saying, for what he's done and taking responsibility for, being a part of what that Steel Curtain defense had instilled in the Pittsburgh legend, taking that responsibility from James Harrison and being able to lead our defense in the last, 8-9 years, man. It's tremendous to see, what this guy has evolved into. So,
Yeah, TJ Watt,
absolutely.
best in the nation. Best in the
Oh, he's
nation.
the MVP. He
No
is the
question.
MVP. No,
No
without a
question.
doubt. He is most valuable. So,
No
yeah, man, I
question.
appreciate you guys, man. Mac, Pat P, thank you guys, man. P-Dub, P2, you know what it is. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you boys, man, for having me on, man. Thanks. Shout out to everybody that watch these guys' show, man. You know, it's a great show. I appreciate y'all having me on.
I know, but
Appreciate
anytime,
you.
you always got a seat at the table, baby. Anytime you want to come rock with us, hey, you always got a seat.
Yes, sir. Sign me up, man. We got the Cowboys coming here to Pittsburgh, baby. So, hey, get me on the show because you know how much I hate those Cowboys.
No doubt.
There you go.
No doubt.
Yeah, money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Money, 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 money. Ain't that funny? I got haters. Yeah, they watching, but I know they love me. Riding around the city, plastic cup of C-Rock. Bigger and I'm blacker. I am on that Chris Rock.